If you are coming from my shot, yes, I am still crying about episode 9. Let's get into why. I know I can hear you already. Where have you been for last 15 years? Have you been living under a rock? Do you not have a TV? The answer is I don't know. But today the debt is paid. I have finally watched the first season of Game of Thrones. I went in knowing two things: winter is coming and people die. That's it. I didn't know who, I didn't know how, and I certainly wasn't prepared for the emotional damage this show was about to inflict on my soul. If you have seen it, you're probably going to enjoy watching me suffer. If you haven't, well, let's go to Westeros together. It's terrible there. I love it. The first episode starts and immediately I am hit with 3 guys in the snow and some ice zombies. I thought, okay, cool, typical fantasy. Then we meet the Starks. I loved the Starks immediately. Ned Stark is the ultimate girl dad. He's honorable, he's got a great sword, and he is the main character. So obviously I'm thinking he's the hero. He's the guy who's going to fix everything. And then we meet Lannisters. Can we talk about Lannisters for a second? Within the first hour, Jaime and Cersei, well, they redefined family bonding in a way that made me want to bleach my eyes. And then Jaime just pushes a child out of a window? Episode 1? I actually screamed at my TV. I realized right then that this isn't Lord of Rings. This is Succession of Swords and zero OSHA compliance. But we can't talk about season 1 without talking about 2 characters who stole my heart immediately. Jon Snow and Tyrion Lannister. First, let's talk about Jon Snow. When the season starts, he's just the bastard son who doesn't fit in. So he decides to join the Night's Watch. And I am thinking, oh okay, he's going to the Wall. It's going to be this epic, snowy brotherhood with noble knights. Nope. It's basically a frozen prison camp full of criminals and people who haven't showered in a decade. Seeing Jon go from this moody teenager to actually stepping out and fighting an ice zombie to save the Lord Commander, that's when I realized Jon isn't just a side character. He's the heart of North. Also, Ghost is the best boy, and if anything happens to that direwolf, I'm deleting the HBO app. And then there is Tyrion. Can we just admit that Peter Dinklage is carrying the charisma of this entire show on his shoulders? Every time he's on screen, the IQ of Rome goes up by 50 points. I loved his friendship with Jon. The whole all bastards and broken things speech. Chills. But my favorite Tyrion moment was definitely the Sky Cells in the Vale. He's literally locked in a room with no wall, 10,000 feet in the air, and he still manages to talk his way out of it by demanding a trial by combat and letting Bronn to do the dirty work. Tyrion is the only person playing this game with brain instead of sword, and honestly, he's the only Lannister I'm currently rooting for, except maybe for the slap he gave Joffrey. I rewatched that clip 12 times. It's therapeutic. As the season progressed, my confusion meter was at an all-time high. You have the Dothraki plot across the sea with Daenerys, who, by the way, has the best character arc of the season. Watching her go from sold by her terrible brother to becoming a Khaleesi? Incredible. Viserys Targaryen getting a golden crown poured on his head was the most satisfying thing I have seen in years. I didn't even feel bad. I feel refreshed. Back in King's Landing, it's just a bunch of guys in the room talking about depth, while Ned Stark tries to solve a mystery like he's in an episode of CSI Medieval. He's looking at hair colors, he's checking birth records. Ned, honey, you're too good for this city. Just take your kids and go back to Snow. But no, honor. Honor is a hell of a drug. Now we talk about episode 9. I genuinely thought there would be a last-minute save. I thought Arya was going to do something. I thought Sansa's crying would stop it. I thought Joffrey was being a brat and would back down. When that sword came down, I sat in silence for 10 minutes. I didn't even click next episode. I just stared at the credits. You let me believe he was the protagonist. How does a show just delete the main character? I felt betrayed. I felt like I have been lied by HBO. But that's when it clicked. In this game, if you are a good person, you're probably gonna lose. Before I give my final score, we have to hand out the Season 1 awards. These are my totally honest, non-negotiable superlatives for the first 10 episodes. First award is the I hope you step on a Lego. This goes unsurprisingly to Joffrey Baratheon. I have never seen a fictional character that I wanted to launch into the sun more than this kid. He's got most punchable face in the history of television. Every time he smirked, I felt my blood pressure rising. The next award is, wait, I actually like him. He's scary, he's scarred, and he does the Lannisters' dirty work. But there's something about the way he looks at Sansa, like he's the only person being honest with her, that makes me think he's not a total monster. Don't tell me if I'm wrong, I want to believe. The best death award, it has to be Viserys Targaryen, getting a crown of gold that actually just molten soup. That's poetic justice at its finest. It was the first time the show went, you want to be a king? Fine, here's your crown. I was cheering from my couch. The most likely to survive a zombie apocalypse award is for Arya Stark, hands down. She's out here chasing cats, learning water dancing with Syrio Forel, who is a legend by the way, and she's the only one who realized the Lannisters were bad news from day one. Arya is a tiny assassin in making, and I am here for it. And finally, why are you like this award? Littlefinger. I don't trust this man as far as I can throw him. Every time he whispers in someone's ear, a noble person loses their head. He looks like he's constantly smelling a fart and trying to figure out how to text it. He's definitely the sneakiest person in King's Landing. The finale was perfect, and I'm totally hooked. Sansa is trapped with a psychopath. Robb is the new king in the north, and Daenerys walks into a fire and comes out with dragons. Real fire breathing, and it's about to go down. Here's my final verdict. Season 1 is a masterpiece of world building. It's dense, it's violent, and it's deeply stressful. My predictions for Season 2 are, Joffrey is going to get punched in the face. Please, I am manifesting this. Tyrion is going to carry the entire show on his back because he's the only one with a brain. The White Walkers are still coming. They seem to be taking a very long walk, but I am sure they'll get there eventually. So I am officially a Thrones fan. I am 13 years late, but I am here. If you enjoyed watching me recount my trauma, hit that like button and subscribe. And for more veterans in the comments, please tell me it gets better or tell me it gets worse so I can prepare my heart. Just no spoilers, please. I'm starting Season 2 tonight. Wish me luck. See you next time. We are the Doozy Heroes, and this is just the beginning. Bye-bye.